And I actually just hit record, and so the show is live. So background for all of the people out there in future land, we did start this. When did we start this? 20 minutes ago, and it was just not working. Hopefully, it's working now. Did my echo come back, or are we? Is it still good?
No, you
No,
sound
sounds
good.
nice.
All right. We are here recording the podcast. It's December 12th. This episode actually is going to come out December 17th. 18th? 18th. Sorry. I'm not stopping it. We're going to keep going. Which is a week before Christmas. How wild is that?
Yeah,
I-
crazy.
The Christmas has come so much sooner as you get older.
Yep. And my kids keep getting bigger. And we have someone to introduce. We did that already because, as I mentioned, we've been doing this for 20 minutes and it just wasn't working. So today on the show, we have host Nick. Hello, host Nick.
Hello.
And we have most extremely special guest host, Dan, my uncle.
Hello.
Hey, thanks for joining us.
It's an honor to be joining you on your podcast.
I'm glad you feel that way. If you hear it back
I
later,
do.
I hope you feel the same way.
I do.
So, Dan is my uncle for anyone out there who doesn't know me or him, which is actually possible. It turns out I found last night, I showed Nick, we have one international listener or a person on a VPN listening from Moscow.
Really?
Yeah. Our tens of listens has turned into an international success.
We think maybe they just had too much vodka and stumbled on
Just
it by
clicking on
mistake.
stuff. What are these dumb
You're just
Americans
clicking,
doing?
yeah.
By mistake.
So I guess my wonderful mother was listening to the show and then forced my uncle to listen to it, and he didn't think it was the worst thing he's ever heard and said, you know what, it might be fun. I think I might like to be on a podcast. And when I heard that, it was absolutely flattering to me. I've known Dan, obviously, my whole life, and he's one of the best storytellers I've ever met.
Well, thank you.
No, seriously. I was little when they started, but they're intriguing, they're captivating. It's like a good storyteller, you want them to keep telling stories because it's just so interesting to listen to, and it really doesn't matter what they're talking about. The start.
Well, we could start. We could go with me being on the dating game back in the 80s, or
I
we could
forgot
go
about it.
with. Yeah, I forgot about that
I
one.
did forget about
Cool.
that. And
That
we
was-
probably should. I think today, as we discussed, we want to go over one of your more wild adventures that I actually had a hard time finding. I know there used to be a local article archive about it from the Santa Maria Times that had the story. I had found that and read it previously, but now there's only mention of that in, I think it was an article they wrote where you were running for the college board, and it just
running for as trustee for the Allen Hancock College.
right, and it had just a brief synopsis of work history. It's like Dan worked at the police academy. He was training people who were doing this now, and before that, no, before. At some point,
I was before and after.
okay,
Early in my career, while I was still a police officer, I was a TAC officer at the academy. And then I left law enforcement and went to do a lot of other things.
mm-hmm.
And then I went back to the academy and taught. Well, I didn't teach again. I was the equipment specialist was the title, but I was the armorer. I took care of all the guns. I took care of everything that it took to make the academy happen. And I did that up until the point that I ran for trustee, because you can't be an employee and be one of the bosses at the same time. So
Slight
I had
conflict
to,
of interest.
yeah, I had to quit my job in order to be able to be a boss.
Well, good for you. And you did it. You made the board.
Yeah, I actually
Oh, cool.
won by 294 votes.
Do you know out of how many?
Let's see, that was for the local district. It was like 7,000, something like that.
All right. Well,
Wow, that's a tight margin then, yeah.
nailed it.
Yeah, it was a tight margin. I defeated a 12-year incumbent that was pretty popular, and
Cool.
And then you went in there, and I would just guess you might have shaken things up a little bit.
I did all kinds of things to the point that I was censured because I was kind of the Donald Trump of the local trustees, and the other four were nothing but a bunch of gerbils that were there to collect the free health insurance and just roll over and play dead. And I certainly wasn't going to do that.
Well, thank you for all of your service.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Very
Yeah.
appreciated.
Absolutely my pleasure.
So what we are here today, what we have agreed upon for this round, and I would like to have you back many times because
Oh,
you have
we
many fantastic stories.
we can talk about some of the few adventures I've had in life.
But so at some point, not working for the police academy and not being an officer yourself and not being on the board, you were traveling and training people on how to repair equipment. Like,
Well, I was what the thing. My title was service engineer.
okay,
I like that they've got the engineering part in there. But anyway, I was basically a service tech that went around the world for a packaging machine company out of Woodinville, Washington. It was called Foremost Fuji. So the we sold Fuji wrapping machines, form, fill, and seal machines, and what they are is basically anything that you look at in the store that's a package that has a seal on the bottom and is cut and sealed at both ends, like a candy bar wrapper, a pastry package, uh, anything from tampons to tools to cookies and things like that. And I was this particular story that we're going to talk about today. I was working in Medellin, Colombia,
mm-hmm.
on a cracker wrapper of all things.
Okay, so crackers in Colombia, not crack.
Yeah, crackers.
Crackers. Okay, so
I was the white cracker there working on crackers.
so I'll get into my, I guess, what I recall from this, which is absolutely nothing near what it's going to turn into, and then I also wanted to just give just a brief background on this episode. So typically on an episode, I'll have 8 to 10 pages of notes, and I will ramble for about an hour, and Nick will try to keep me on track sometimes. This one I have 2 pages. I already skipped the first page, and it's going to be primarily led by a thing that we've never done, right, Nick? An interview?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Never done that. So, so this story, I recall. Do you remember what year it was, Dan?
This was back in '99, I believe.
99. So I was born in 83. That would have made me 15 or 16. And
Right.
what I remember as it was unfolding was hearing someone in the house. I don't remember if there was 2 people or 1 people on the phone, but I heard the word said, "Danny is at the U.S. Embassy in Colombia. He was kidnapped."
Yep, that's
And I don't even know if I realized the gravity of what that meant or like asked about how that happened, because I mean we had no idea at that point. It was just you had made it to the embassy and you had some other struggles, I think, trying to get home, which we'll get to. But that was how I got into it, which was after certainly so much more trauma in your life, and I cannot wait to just dive into all of that. But the last thing I have before we do is I looked up the Colombian U.S. or civilian kidnapping rates, and it turns out you were really early into this trend. You were trend setting because
yeah. There was another group of people that were kidnapped right after us. It was a group of nuns that
ooh,
they were to be bird watching, and they were kidnapped probably about 2 weeks after we had gone through our ordeal and were on our way. Well, we had already made it back home,
wow. So
but that made the national news. We just made some of the local.
because it was just you and Pete, which we'll get to, because that side of it even adds more just wildness to the story. But so the background on Colombian kidnapping is that there were guerrilla military groups, there still are there, who would kidnap civilians and try to ransom them for money or extort people and this and that. And apparently this does fit right in that window. Between 96 and 2004, it's estimated that around 500 people were kidnapped. And yeah, but that was the beginning. It started in the 70s, I guess, but it ramped way up after that. In the year 2000 alone, this says that people kidnapped in Colombia, the number rose to 3,500.
Whoa.
And then by 2015, the number had declined down to 213, or so. So it's far less popular now. You were right at the beginning. They're like, you know what we should do? Kidnap Americans. And Dan was like, I would like a job, and I'm going to be in Colombia. And that's kind of how this worked out, right?
Yeah, the when we were at the embassy, a whole lot unfolded about why we shouldn't be there, and the
Yeah.
all of the stuff that the State Department had online at that time, and had actually sent to our company, and it was basically, don't come here, hire locals, don't do any work here, and why the hell are you here in the first place? That's what the
For
CIA investigator, or the CIA agent that we talked to when we finally made it to the embassy,
that's what they
told
told
us.
you. Hey, you shouldn't have been here. I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah,
Thanks for
this.
letting us know.
Well, we found out later that our company did indeed know,
Oh,
and
lovely.
the head of sales, as the whole story plays out, the head of sales had kind of convinced the owners that he knew better than anybody else, and that it was okay for us to go because he had deemed it so. And
Hmm,
he and I had some words, and
I bet.
yeah, because there was a well, as the story unfolds, this guy plays a kind of a pivotal point in what I was trying to pull off later on in the ordeal. And Dennis Gunnell was his name. He was the head of sales for the company, and we were working on a $2.5 million project down there. So he actually wanted us there regardless.
Hmm.
So it was kind of a cutthroat thing that he and I had words later on.
Yeah, I imagine you would have, and you're not a guy that I would like to have words with.
Yeah, well,
Given stature and general intimidation lookingness, which people listening don't know. So I think I'll just jump to that now. And we'll jump back to it later. So you traveled to Colombia. You traveled all over South America doing this job, right?
correct.
And on this
Buenos
particular
Aires, Argentina, Santiago, Chile, uh, all over.
right, and on this trip, along with several others, you were traveling with a guy you worked with named Pete, right?
No, I wasn't working with Pete on this
Oh,
particular
I
trip.
thought he was there with you.
No,
Oh,
the fellow that I was with on this trip, his name was Mitch Hollingsworth.
oh, I had this story wrong for 26 years.
Yeah, no, I was working with Mitch. Mitch was our Pete had been there. I had been traveling with Pete to Colombia on numerous occasions,
Okay,
and for some reason he wasn't on this trip.
so in comparison by size to Pete, how was this fellow you were with?
He was about your stature.
Okay, so I'm 6'2", currently about 245. My
Yeah, he was a former Marine,
mm-hmm.
and big baritone voice. He was a bass singer in high school with a barbershop quartet that traveled all over the world.
Oh, very
It's
nice.
really, really deep bass voice. And he was a Harley rider, and he was the kind of guy that would have a whole handful of rice in his pocket riding his Harley. They came up to some kind of uh, Japanese bike. He'd throw rice at him, feed that
Oh,
thing.
that's
This is the kind of guy he was, and
that's not necessary.
oh well, but that's the kind of
Okay.
his outward personality was that way, and you find out in the story that boy, people change.
Well, but I think that's good background just to know the type of person that he was, given kind of how this went down. And then just for comparison's sake, you are what? You were 6 feet tall, 6'1",
6'1",
6'1", and larger than I am. Like,
then about 300 pounds.
yeah, these two dudes walking around in Colombia, were large fellows. I would not walk up to my uncle and mess with him anywhere, but I also am not a member of a guerrilla faction. So that's let's start at the beginning. You fly into Colombia, you get to the airport. What happens?
Well, it's there's a little backstory to that too, because we
All right.
were traveling around Los Angeles with each other, visiting other customers prior to getting on the plane. And everybody liked traveling with me because I always traveled first class,
Yep.
because I had enough points on from flying that I always got first class upgrades. So anybody from the company that was going out in the field knew that if they were flying with me, we were flying first class and doing the best thing. So this was just coming up on not Thanksgiving, but Valentine's Day. And here we were, we could be home with our wives on Valentine's Day, and here we are going to Columbia.
Mm.
And I had told my boss that I was not going to travel to Columbia anymore because it wasn't a matter of if we were going to get hit, it was a matter of when. And after we got through traveling around to some of the other customers in the Los Angeles area prior to going on, we went to Wolfgang Puck's, and
Ooh.
that's a pretty high end restaurant. And offhand, I toasted Mitch, and I said, "The dying man ate a hearty meal." And, and we spent probably
Mm.
250 bucks on dinner that night, and just said, I really don't want to do this trip. I'm hoping that we come out okay, but I just got a bad feeling.
That's
So the next morning we got on the plane, Eva Air, and we flew through on first class through Panama,
very nice.
landed at the Rio Negro airport in Medellin, Colombia, about 11:30. And as we're
In the
getting off of the plane, this guy comes up to me. We're standing in line, getting out, and he comes up to me and he says, "Are you a cardiologist?" And I
Nope.
said, "I don't. You've got me mistaken for somebody else." And this was all in Spanish because I
Right.
speak Spanish, and he was asking me. And I said, "No, just a mechanical, just a mechanic."
Yep.
And as we're getting off the plane, we're kind of like the last ones. And in Latin America, you know why all of the Latin Americans and the Mexicans win the lottos? Because
No.
life is a lotto in South America.
I,
And when you get to the airport, there's a button that you have to push, and there's a stoplight, and it's green or red. And if you push the button and it comes up red, you have to go through customs, and they tear all your shit apart
oh
and
wow.
completely search you.
That,
If it's green, you just go through.
it's just random, huh?
It's just random.
Great. Good.
Or at least they say it's random.
Well, sure.
So I go up and I push the button and it's red, and we're over to customs, and they tear everything apart down almost to a granular level to make sure that you don't have anything that you shouldn't be having bringing it into the country.
Sure.
So we're probably another half hour getting through customs. So we're the last people in the airport. And we've got a driver that always meets us. His name was Antonio, and he had a little, what was it? It was a Renault,
Oh, Renault. Yeah, little
a
French
little
car.
Renault, yeah, a little Renault car. That's his taxi cab that he came, and he would always greet us. And the usual greeting was he'd bring me a Cuban cigar.
Sounds nice.
So I get a nice Cuban, uh, either a let's see, what did he give us that time? I'm trying to remember. Anyway, it was a Cuban cigar. I stuck that in my pocket, and we got in the car. And I go, I'm looking around, and we're the last people coming out of the airport, and it's like, I don't like this.
No.
So we get in his car and pile all of our crap in it, and we're driving out of the airport and headed towards Medellin. Well, it's about an hour drive from the Medellin Rio Negro airport through the country down into Medellin. And we've gone through a traffic circle, and I know about where we are. And I'm telling Mitch, and it's probably uh, 85 degrees here at almost midnight, a little bit past. And I turn back to Mitch and I go, I can't believe we're in this fucking country. And then we hear this screaming and yelling off to our left. And I realize the car is being forced off of the road.
Uh oh.
And I see the lights, and the guns pointed out of the car, and I go, oh shit.
So a group
So
was it?
I dump out of the car. Antonio was pulling the car over, and it's just coming to a stop, and I'm out, and I know about where we're at, and there's probably about 20, maybe 25 yards from this roadway to an embankment that you're over and into a canyon area.
Was it like
And
wooded canyon jungle?
well, this is really pretty. It's like wooded.
Of course,
It's
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 dark.
not,
So
it's dark, and I know about where we're at. And there's the headlight glare that I'm looking at, and there's a barbed wire fence that's kind of decrepit. That that I'm through the fence and headed out, and I hear them screaming at me back. He says, come back, or we're going to kill your partner. And they got the gun to Mitch's head.
oh man, I don't recall this part of the story. I
Yeah,
record
You're
the
in this country for like an hour.
yeah,
I thought you were there for a bit. You
no,
were,
and
this
was
is
it
immediate.
was it not before you even got off the plane? Somebody was like, "Hey, this guy looks like a doctor."
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
he's
Wow.
being
So later we're thinking that maybe this is the guy that pinned us to be kidnapped.
okay.
So,
So I'm guessing you went back,
well, I hesitated long enough to where I thought that they could probably run after me and get me. And I thought, well, I better go back.
oh man,
So I went back, and
good
I
on
went
you.
back to the back of the car. I put my hands on the trunk of the car, and I was looking, and then there's cars going by. There's
Right?
actual cars driving past, and there's vroom, vroom. And here there's three guys out with guns, and there's Mitch and I and Antonio, and one guy is climbing into the car that had the gun to Mitch's head. And this guy, there's a little guy. He's probably 5'5", uh, medium length hair, and this over his collar. And he's got a revolver, and he's poking it in my chest and kicking me
Wow.
in the knees, telling me in Spanish to get back in the car, get back in the car. And I'm looking at the gun, and as the headlights go by, I can see the chamber of the revolver that's pointed at me, and I can see the bullets in the chamber.
So it's not a prop,
No, but because in Mexico, sometimes they've got guns, but they don't have bullets,
right?
But this guy's got a gun, and it's bullets, a little Smith and Wesson M&P, and I can see the bullets. And I go, okay, well, he's
It's
kind of in
serious.
here, and there's a guy standing behind him, and it's a Peugeot cab
Hmm.
that these guys pulled up in, and he's got a machine gun.
Uh,
So
much worse.
so I can't deal with this guy with the revolver, which I could have then, but the guy with the machine gun definitely has the upper hand.
Right.
So I go and get back in the car. So I get back in the car, and I'm in the passenger side where I had been sitting, and Antonio is now sitting in the middle of the car, and the gunman with the revolver is getting in the other side. So there's
Okay.
three of us in the front of this little Renault, and I'm 300 pounds, and it looks like they're mashing a jar full of oysters in there. Everybody's smished up.
It would be snug. Those are small
It's
cars.
crazy tight. And he's trying to get the car in gear, and he's grinding the gears, and it's just like, what the, it's just bedlam. And Mitch is in the back going, Dan, Dan, Dan. And he's got the guys in the back. Directly behind me is my Samsonite suitcase. Mitch is in the middle of the car, and then there's the gunman with him. So it's like, okay, two gunmen, my suitcase behind me, and Antonio in the middle, and the guy in the Peugeot with the machine gun.
Yep. Pointed at you,
So,
undoubtedly.
so Mitch is going kind of nuts, and I'm going, how are we going to get the hell out of this situation? And the guy gets the car in gear, and we turn around and we're headed back towards the airport.
Okay.
So it's like, damn it, what am I going to do? How am I going to get out of this? Because I can take care of the guy in front, and but then the guy behind me with the gun is going to shoot me.
And
So
there's another car with a much bigger gun
exactly.
in case you can handle that.
So
So
yeah, you're former law enforcement at this point and have worked in armor. Like, do you feel some comfort with this level
oh, I'm sure very comfortable.
of firearms around you? Because
Well, I know that, and as the story goes on, there's things that happen that I'm thinking, okay, well that was a key point that we should have done something, and here we should have done something here. But anyway, the guy in the back comes up, crawls kind of halfway over, and there was a point there where I could have grabbed onto him and got his gun, but it was so fast that I really didn't have time to think about it. He came up and he broke the rearview mirror off
Oh,
and
good
threw it
call.
down so that nobody could. So I don't know. Maybe it was shining in his eyes or something. But
Yeah, it's way too easy to drive with those. Get rid of that.
yeah, so he breaks off the middle of the thing. So we're headed back towards North Medellin. And North Medellin is where Pablo Escobar had the barrios that were in his control. So it's kind of like, we're going into the wasteland of Medellin, Colombia.
Not
So we
great.
go through this traffic circle, and I'm saying, Mitch, I'm not liking this thing. And we're driving along, and we're going through like a little town where there's people, and the car slows down, and I'm looking around, and there's people walking around the car, and I'm thinking I can just bail out right here, and I've got all kinds of people that I can walk through that, but I can't
But
take
Mitch.
Mitch with
Right,
me.
but Mitch.
But there's the whole Mitch thing, and I'm talking to Mitch on this trip while we're going,
It,
saying, Mitch, you got to have a move. We got to do something.
so I have a question.
Sure.
You're probably speaking to Mitch in English. Do these
In
guys speak
English,
English?
we find out that they don't speak English
Ah, that's key.
that's
because
helpful.
I'm saying, Mitch, you got to have a move. And he goes, I can't. And he's got Mitch holding his hands together like he's praying, and he's got his right hand with the gun stuck in Mitch's ribs with the pistol,
Ugh.
and he's holding Mitch's hands, his thumbs together in the front of him.
So
So Mitch
yeah. So if he
really,
moves, he won't have enough time.
Mitch does have a move. The move there is to just jam your left elbow back
Yep.
and let him start shooting,
Oof.
and come across with your right hand and break his nose, break his face, poke an eye out, do whatever it takes. And but no, Mitch is froze. Former Marine, you know, asshole at a stop sign, ready to get in a fight over,
Yes. Very rude.
anything. And he it has just taken all of the piss and vinegar out of him.
I mean, I
Mm.
could understand. It's pretty tense. Not. I mean, I've never been a Marine, but in general, all of this sounds very intense.
It is because and Mitch is screaming, saying, "Dan, tell them they can have everything." I go, Mitch, they have everything.
Yeah, they don't want your suitcase.
They have us, and they have everything. He says, just tell me, because anyway, as the story progresses, here we are going through this thing, and I'm going, I can't. I got shit to do, man. This is really harshing my buzz
I got
here.
crackers to package. Come on, man.
Yeah. So we're headed towards North Medellin, and finally I say, Mitch, we got to do something soon because I'm not dying in this country. I'm just not going to do this.
Excellent
And I
plan.
said, you got to have the same mindset as I do.
Yep.
And he says, I can't. And he's pretty much froze. So we're going along, and I go, I I says, we can't get into North Medellin. I says, as soon as we get there, we're in Escobar's area, and it's not going to go well for us.
Mm-mm.
So anyway, I just had said that this is going to go bad, and you can see the lights of North Medellin, and these guys all of a sudden take a sharp right turn and go off of the road, and it looks like we're driving down into the bowels of hell.
Oh, good.
It's all of these trees that are grown over the road, And I'm thinking, okay, now I'm done. I don't care. I'm leaving without Mitch. So I go, no mas. And I opened the door and they stopped and I fell out onto the road.
Oh, all right. I had not heard this part before.
Yeah. So I get over off of the road. I pick myself up, and the guy with the machine gun is there right away
Of course.
into my face. And he lines me up on the side of the road. He takes Mitch out, and we both stand together. And then Antonio gets up next to us, and there's all three of us standing along the road. So we're sitting there, and I'm looking. I said, Mitch, we gotta do something soon here. So the one guy comes up, and he starts frisking us, and tells us to drop our pants.
As one does.
And because I said, and you're not probably young enough to remember this movie, but there was a movie called Deliverance.
Oh, I've seen that movie. It's
I've seen
scarring.
Deliverance.
Okay, well, I tell Mitch, I said I'm not doing a Ned Beatty
Yeah,
impression.
no. Mm-mm. If anyone
So
doesn't know what that means, don't go look it up. Just
Do
so
not watch it. Just don't watch it.
so I tell Mitch I'm not doing that, and we're going to die right now if that's what's going to happen. And he's going, I'm with you. I'm with you. Now he's starting to
it's coming
kind of
around.
get in the moment again. And the guy comes up and says, we're searching for money belts.
Mm.
So they're searching us, and they're grabbing up under our nuts and frisking everywhere that you possibly can think
That's
of.
where I keep my dollars.
And they go through and they tell us, okay, now put your pants back on. So okay, that
That's
happens.
better. Yeah.
We zip up, and we got to, and then he says take your shoes off because he wants to check for money. So we rip our shoes
Diamonds. Yeah.
off. People got hiding stuff there. So they were all
Wow.
standing there, and everything is going fine with Antonio because we're getting searched. They've opened the car trunk, and they're pulling all of our suitcases and everything, and they're carrying that up to the Peugeot that's parked up on the top of the road and on this little embankment where we're pulled off to the side. And one guy is carrying all of our stuff up the hill, toolboxes. We
Yeah.
got everything that we have is there. So
Equipment
they're pulling that.
repair stuff. Yeah. That
Right. So Antonio is okay with all of this until they start searching his cab looking for his stash of money.
well, because he has one.
Well, cab drivers usually do hide their money. They never have it, on them. So they're looking for that. And Mitch and I had probably $1,100 cash greenbacks between us. They find that and they take that. And Antonio starts getting kind of froggy with them, saying, hey, stop doing that. And the guy comes up and puts the gun to Antonio's head, says, uno más palabra.
Yeah.
Entonces,
One more thing.
yeah, one more thing and you're dead.
Yeah.
And Antonio calms down, and
Oh,
we're
surprise.
standing there. And all the time that we were driving, the one driver was asking Antonio about us. Who are these guys? What? And Antonio, to his credit, is to say, "Hey, they're just mechanics. They're nobody. They're not worth any money. They're just nobodies." And so that was good because it
That
wasn't
does.
like
Yeah.
we're the president of the company and we're worth all kinds of money.
Yeah. You should definitely extort their families and hold them captive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So as we're standing there and we're looking for anything to maybe help us get out of this thing, the one guy that was driving finds, because I had my police ID, my retirement ID, I had my badge and my ID, and I had taken that out of my pocket and thrown it on the floor of the car. So hopefully they wouldn't find it. Well,
Right.
he found it and
Yeah.
came over
It was a good
and
effort.
and was looking at my gun, my police ID, and me, and looking at that, looking at me, and he just folds it, and I'm thinking, he's going to shoot me now. And he folds it up, puts it in his pocket, and kind of goes on his business. Of stealing everything that we have, including our dignity.
That was the plan all along. At least that's all he did at that moment.
At that particular point.
Yeah.
So as we're standing there, I look up the little embankment, and there's like two people walking down the embankment towards us, and it's just kind of starlight. It's not really moonlight. It's probably 1:30 in the morning now, getting closer to 2, and these people are walking down this road at this time. Well, in Latin America, everything happens at midnight. I mean, there's if you show up at 10 o'clock for dinner, you're early.
Oh wow. That's
So that's kind of their. So seeing people out at night and they're walking down this abandoned road, walking, I don't know where it went, never went back to find out. But as these two people come walking up, the guys put their guns down and try to act all casual, like, "Hey, nothing to see here, nothing going on,
just hanging out.
you know, yeah, just hanging out, just these guys down here." It's just, and they walk past us and into the evening, and then these guys get back to their deal of taking everything that we have and moving up. And I said, Mitch, I said, if anybody else walks down this road, we're running off into the jungle. This is the best place to get away. And one of the gunmen had opened up the hood of Antonio's car and had ripped out the ignition wires.
Well, that'll keep you from taking that.
Well, I'm thinking, okay, so they're not looking at killing us. You don't have to disable a car to shoot people.
Yeah, if people aren't able to drive one.
Exactly. So
Fair.
I'm thinking maybe we've got a little edge here, and they're they're going through and they're looking at us and they're thinking about what they're going to do, and we're there for maybe another 5 minutes, and a group of like 3 or 4 people start walking down the road, and I'm going, this is our moment, Mitch. I said, as soon as they get in and mixed in with all these peoples, let's take off up into the bush here.
Absolutely.
So they walk. So these people walk down, and I go now. And Mitch and I and Antonio split, and we're off up into the jungle,
Wow.
and we're running like a motherfucker. And I hit a root. I went down and I smacked my head, and I thought I was
Oh.
out. But we were in really tall grass that they couldn't see us
In the dark, in the middle
in
of
the
nowhere.
dark.
Yeah.
So I'm there. Mitch is on top of me, and we're just trying to keep our breath down. And there's
Could you hear them pursuing you?
we could have if they had, but they weren't pursuing us.
Okay.
So I said,
But
just calm down. Let's just stay here. Let's just stay here. And we stayed in the bush, and we heard them close the doors to the Peugeot, and we heard it drive off.
oof.
That was basically, we were through with the kidnapping at that point.
And this is how long what time would you guess it was? You landed like 11:30 at night.
And now it's like closer to 2.
And it's, yeah, 2.5 hours of just chaos.
Yeah.
Pure stress. Yeah, just
Well, so as we're driving along, I hear what I know is a magazine being pulled out of an automatic pistol. I've heard that sound so many times. I know what it is.
Yep, it's pretty
And then I heard
recognizable.
it being snapped back into the pistol. And later, Mitch tells me, yeah, he took the magazine out to show me that he had bullets, and then he snapped it back in. And I said, he only had one round in the chamber at that point, and he should have done something. Because I was thinking,
yeah.
It only takes one.
yeah,
Point.
but it's just like in the Deer Hunter. Okay, we'll just see where the one goes.
Yeah.
Because the guy's hair was so long that was driving, I had a move figured out that I was going to grab his hair and come around with my right hand, holding his hair and scoop an eyeball out.
Oof.
And
Oof.
well, because I thought that's the softest part, and he won't be thinking about using that pistol as I've got my thumb in his eye socket, pulling his eye out.
I don't disagree, but man.
And the only thing that was that the car was going to wreck if I did that. And it's like,
Yep.
what? Where's the upside here of in a car wreck and the guy with the
Oh, hello.
Sorry.
No, it's
That's
fine.
someone knocking their horn outside my house.
That's fitting.
So that was going on, and it's like, God damn it! He only had one bullet, and he had both hands off of you at the time. You should have done something. But anyway, we're both alive.
Yep. That was
The
where it worked
gunmen are
out.
gone, and I think, okay, well, this is great. So
Oh,
we
yeah.
we,
Great.
we make our way back to the car, and Antonio is trying to figure out what they did to his car, and he's got a flashlight, and he's putting everything back together. And I look in the trunk, and my carry-on bag with all of my shit in it is there.
Oh, good.
All of my passport and all the rest of that stuff, and a few other my shaving kit and stuff. I've still got the bag to this day. It's my lucky Columbia bag.
Yeah, I'd hold on to that.
I've used it when I went to Vegas, but it doesn't. It's not all that
It's
lucky.
not
But
for gambling. It just keeps you
but
alive.
but I digress. But anyway, uh, and I've still got my Lands End shirt that I wore that night, where I've got uh, the little pricks where the barbed wire fence frayed it.
Yeah.
So I've still got that.
And custom with sweat stains and
Oh yeah,
yeah,
and the
one or two, I would guess.
I got rid of the other stain things that I had that night. Anyway, as the story progresses, that we had to anyway.
So you're in the middle of a tall grass, something or other, wooded area, middle of the night. It's 2 a.m.
Yeah, and
Now
we
what?
way back to the car, and Antonio fixes the car and gets it started.
Oh, awesome! Good job, Antonio.
So we pile back in it, and I go, "Let's get the fuck out of here!" And we're headed down to North Medellin, and Antonio
Not the
is
wrong.
stopping at stoplights and stopping at stops, and I go, "We're going to get kidnapped again." I don't care what you do.
Try
Just
not to get arrested.
yeah. Well, we're looking for the cops at that point.
Yeah, arrest us.
Yeah, hello.
Find
Pull me
us, come
over.
help. So he lays on the gas. I'm saying, and balls to the walls. Let's get back to the hotel. So we get there, and the hotel has their own private. Well, it's military security that they hire from the army that is there. Now we used to stay at the Hotel Intercontinental that had like an army contingent at it with rifles and all the rest of that stuff. But when we got down to when the salesman, the head of sales,
Yes.
figured everything was great and we were going to stay a little cheaper and make a little more money for the company, we stayed at the Hotel Dan of all places,
Hell yeah.
downtown Medellin.
No.
So we're it, and there's the one guy from the army that's their guard there. So we're getting there. It's like 3 o'clock, and we're going, hey, we just were kidnapped, and they touched this, and this is where they got fingerprints here and all the rest of this stuff. And the guy from the army goes, big deal,
Yeah.
you're back.
You're here
So what?
now. Yeah.
So what? I go, well, call the police. We did, and he goes, all right. He says, you want to do that? Why? I said, we were just kidnapped. We got to have a police report and all the rest of the stuff. And
Something.
what an ordeal that was. So the police show up and they don't take fingerprints. They don't do anything. They go, okay, well, we're going to take you over to the office and we're going to take your statement. And the guy spoke really good English. We go over there. We give our statement, and he's like typing with one finger or two fingers on a mechanical typewriter,
Wow.
and he types out about a paragraph on some kind of official police stationery, and says, "Okay, we're done." I go, "That's it? You're not going to go back to try to find him?" I go, "Oh no, don't worry about it. You guys." He says, "Be lucky you're alive. That's all you got to do. Be happy you're alive." I go, "Fucking wonderful. That's this. I hate this country."
Like worst day of your life, and
I
he
would
doesn't give a shit.
be ready to be out of there.
Yeah. So we go back to the hotel, and of course the bar is closed. So
Yeah.
we get into, and there's one Mexican national, and what's his name? It's Arturo. Anyway, Arturo's there, and we hired him from Bimbo Bakeries to be kind of our liaison. And he was an actual card carrying engineer for Bimbo Bakeries,
Oh, right on.
but we hired him, and he was one of our helpers. So I go into Arturo's room, my room, and uh, Mitch's room, and I take everything out of the mini bars and bring
As
them
one does.
in and have like and line them up in whatever we're gonna drink there. And I go, we're alive, man. Let's fucking party. And Mitch is all fucking wound up. I go, Mitch, the whole thing of the exercise is to be alive at the end of it, and we won. We're alive.
Yeah.
Here, let's have a cocktail.
Nailed.
And
Yeah,
I was
absolutely.
drinking. I was just drinking whatever we could. We ran out of soda, and we went down to the bar to the desk, and we got some more soda so that we could have more whiskey. And
You don't need soda for
we
that.
we drank until and I slept pretty well actually,
Oof.
after drinking enough to kind of take the edge off.
Wow.
The next morning, for we got up for breakfast, and Mitch meets me, and we're having breakfast, and I go, you know, it really doesn't taste any different that uh, but we're alive. You know,
No, it's
you
definitely different.
just and the whole world changes for you for a while. Because I go, there's nothing that anything can happen to me that is going to be bad because I'm alive for it to happen.
Yeah.
And it
And
really does. It doesn't make you feel invincible, but it gives you just a real fuck the world kind of.
Well, and maybe some appreciation of, oh, look, a sunset. And I got to see that.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
I got to
it was
have this
it was
breakfast.
it was a sunrise, and
Well, yep.
had a
Okay.
great
Yeah.
had a great breakfast. And I said, Mitch, I see little drinks with fruity drinks with umbrellas in our future. We're getting out of this fucking country as soon as we can, because
Absolutely.
all we got is the clothes on our back.
Yeah. So did
And
you end up there with your passport?
I have my passport, but Mitch does not have his.
Okay.
So now it becomes an ordeal of going to the U.S. Embassy to get a passport so that Mitch can leave.
Right.
And his mother and father, his father was a dentist, and his mother was a mover and shaker in the Republican Party back in the little town in Kansas where he came from.
Okay.
So when he calls his mama and tells her what happened, the Marine calls his mama and says, "This happened. I was kidnapped, this, that, and the other." Well, she lights up every congressman and senator there is. And Bob Dole was the senator for Kansas at the time, and she had been on his election committee. So she had a Rolodex with all kinds of names of all kinds of people that she lit up that would made sure that her little boy was going to come home to Kansas in one piece.
That's good to have when you need it.
Yeah. So we call the company and say, this happened to us. We got nothing. We're coming back. Fuck this place.
Pretty
It's,
much.
find somebody else to do this job because we're getting out of here. And the head salesman, gets on the phone and says, "No, you got to stay there and do all this." And
You
I
got
go,
you got training
"No,
to do.
that's not happening, and we're leaving, and Arturo can take care of this because that's all you need here is him." And he says, "Well, it's your fault because you shouldn't have come in so late at night."
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
and
Sure.
I said, Dennis, if you say one more word and I hear one more word about you and this escapade, I'm not flying anywhere but directly to Seattle, and I'm going to come there and I'm going to tear your face off. And so you just shut up, put the guy that owns the company, put Norm on the phone, and I'm going to talk to him because you are definitely on my shit list, and there's going to be things to I said, what the hell did I tell him? I just told him in no uncertain words that he better shut up, or I'm coming there, and his head is on my checklist. So
For
Good
all
for you for
podcast
standing
listeners,
up.
Dan is a very upstanding citizen. He would not have harmed this man and did not. But I'm sure it was tense, and I don't blame you for the
Yeah,
intensity.
what a jackass.
Yeah, that
Like,
guy's not good. That seems the wrong
yeah,
thing to
well,
say.
anyway, I got my pound of flesh from him. He had to make an apology to me and Mitch in front of the entire company.
That that at a minimum, I would say, if just because
yeah.
of the culpability, right? Oh, you knew this wasn't safe. It
Yeah,
was
yeah,
recommended to you to not do this, and you just ignored it. That's not okay.
that was pointed out later on in discussions I had with the two people that owned the company.
Wow.
I mean, I think it was probably well known at that time that Medellin was
It
not a safe place to go.
I didn't know.
Y-
well,
I wasn't going.
so we and getting to the embassy, I said we went into the company that we were working at. Papa Noel was the name of the place, and
Oh, the packaging place.
yeah,
Okay.
well, it was the place that made the crackers and
Ah.
everything that
Oh,
handed this two
yes.
million
Forgive me.
dollar project off to. And they were saying, well, you guys, you're alive. Can you stay? And I go, you don't understand.
No,
we
thank you.
we almost died here, and we're leaving your and your police here don't care,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to be a part of this here. We're getting out.
Just
We're leaving,
just
and
hang
that's all
out
there is to it.
and hope that doesn't happen again. Yeah. No, thank you.
So we got a flight scheduled. I called my travel agent. We got a flight scheduled to go to Bogota because we had to go to the U.S. Embassy to get Mitch another passport.
Right.
So we get to the embassy, and it's a place the size of the Santa Maria downtown mall.
That's a good sized
Okay.
place.
So, and around it is 4 people wide, and this giant line that's around, and they're all waiting to get through the gate to get to a set of bleachers to be called in to go through the doors to try to get a visa to come to America.
Before they close for the day.
Yeah, well, and they're there
Or just forever. They just stay in
forever.
line until they get
They're in
there.
line waiting, and there must be 2,000 people
Mm.
that are
Oh,
circling
Wow.
this embassy. And we walk up, and they're going, you're never going to be able to get in there because the line is so long. I says, we're American citizens. We're going to walk right through that door right over there. So
I mean,
we we walk right through. We get to the embassy doors, and they're like a vault. You open them up, and you walk inside, and there's a U.S. Marine behind glass, and he's
Mitch? Oh, not
well,
Mitch. Sorry.
no, not Mitch, but Mitch goes up. He goes, "Yeah, the Marines. We're home. We're in America," and we're standing in line by the door, and or we get up in the front of the line because we were waiting in the small line to get to the bulletproof glass, and she says, "Oh, the gal behind the glass recognizes Mitch's name and my name, and because Mitch's mother has lit up the
Right,
entire
right.
U.S. State Department."
I mean, use it if you
yeah,
can.
Mitch.
Yeah.
Mitch's mom.
So we're standing there, and the CIA agent comes up and looks and goes, "Oh," and he's got this book open that has pictures of all of the senators and all the people that have called him, and and he says, "Oh," he says, "Well, you're the guys that are on this." I said, "If our name's on the paper, what are we doing out here? We want to be back there."
Yeah.
So he goes, "Oh yeah." So he says, "Come." So he comes around and gets us and brings us back around, and we have to go over the whole story with him, and he debriefs us, and he says, this is just a dangerous country. You shouldn't be here.
Hmm.
He says the rules of the embassy are if there's an embassy person outside of the embassy past 7 o'clock, they're fired and sent home. He says we don't negotiate with kidnappers, and this place is dangerous. You're going to get kidnapped. Hire someone else to come here and do this.
Dang.
And he says, I don't know how. And Mitch, uh, and there's the thing from the State Department saying, don't come here. It's dangerous. Find somebody else. And Mitch tells me, oh, that was on Dennis's desk. He had a copy of that
Ah,
before we came down
you
here.
don't say.
And it's like,
Ugh.
Dennis is just going up on my level of.
It's
Yeah, I
not.
was going to mention that. I mean, there's travel advisories. They're out there all the
That's
time, and I
what
would
it
imagine
was.
you'd look that up before you go to some foreign
So
country.
so he says, so he gets everything ready to get Mitch a new passport, and strikingly enough, they don't have any. You got to show up at the embassy with a passport photo,
That's that.
and they don't. There's no
Hmm.
camera in,
Hmm.
or they're not going to provide a camera for you as a citizen to come in and get a new passport. So we got to go back outside to these passport places that take the photos,
Nope. No, thank you.
and it's the place is getting, and the embassy is getting ready to close.
Right.
So we go outside, and I go, well, we got to do this. And Mitch goes in there, and we pay the money, and we pay the money for Mitch to get his picture. He gets his picture taken. We hand the guy the money, and the guy hands it to another guy who goes out of the door and takes off running. And I go,
Oh
I don't.
no.
That's not a good sign,
Nope.
Mitch.
Don't chase him. Go to another
And
store.
and I said, and so I go, ¿qué pasa? And he says, oh, un momento, and he says, it's fine, everything's going to be
Uh
fine.
huh. Sure.
Starts speaking in English. He says, oh, we'll take care of this. He says it's going to be 2 hours, and we'll have your photo.
The one that he
And
just
we
had
go
in his hand.
outside, and I go outside, and I go, Mitch, and we're sitting down there, and I'm going, this is South America. And I said, we walk back inside, and I go, ¿cuánto por
Uh
ahorita?
huh.
How much for right now? And he goes, oh, 20 más.
Oh, oh,
So we
that's
pay,
it. Here you go.
so we paid him another 20. We got it with the photo got developed right
Oh,
then.
magic.
We go back in, and Mitch gets his passport, and the guy from the CIA says, you're going to have all of these different stamps, or you're not going to get there. And he says, I'm going to set you up with this person from immigration from Colombia, and they'll put you right through, and you'll be on the plane to get the hell out of here. And I go, God bless you, thank you,
Yes.
God
Thank you.
bless America, all the rest of that. Mitch gets his stamps, I get my passport stamped, and we go back to, we're going to go back to the hotel, but our agent that had brought us to the Medellin, brought us to the embassy left. He was gone. He bailed on us.
But other stuff to
So
do.
we got to get another cab to get back to the hotel.
Oh no, thank you. I just stay at the embassy. Can I sleep here?
Yeah.
So we get a cab, and Mitch is going, man, I don't like this. This is not a good thing. I
Yeah.
go, don't worry, Mitch. We'll get back. So I stop one cab. I give him the address to the hotel that we're staying at in Bogota, which is where we flew back into.
Right.
And he goes, and we got money now because I got my American Express, and I got a bunch of cash advance. So we're headed back towards uh, the hotel, and I go, the hotel is that way, and he's going the opposite direction. I'm going,
Mm.
hey, ¿qué pasa? And he goes, oh, it's going. We got to make a turn, and we're going through this block of houses that looks like it's bombed out, and all of a sudden, the the cab, it gets a flat tire,
Oh, perfect.
and he pulls over, and Mitch is going, I ain't gonna do this, Dan. I ain't gonna do this, Dan.
Oh.
And Mitch is like at he's at DEFCON 5,
Yeah, I think I might
and
have been too.
we get out of the car, and I go, I just he's going, mianta mianta, and he's getting the jack out and getting ready to change the tire, and I go, I can't fucking believe it. We're gonna get kidnapped
Uh
again
huh.
in Bogota. And Mitch has got like a tire iron, and he's ready to. He takes the tire iron from the guy, and he's going to use it on him. I go, Mitch, just let him change the
Well,
tire
yeah, not that
and
guy.
get
Like
the hell out of here.
maybe
So
defense. He's
the,
trying to
the guy
help.
the guy is looking like, what the hell is going on? So the guy gets the tire iron from Mitch. He takes the lug nuts off. He jacks it up. He changes the tire. And another cab, while this is all going on, another cab comes up and says, "Hey, I'll get you. You need a taxi?" And I go, "No, we'll kind of stick with the one we got."
Yeah, this guy seems like he's not trying to kidnap us.
Right. So he changes the tire. We get back to the hotel, and then it's kind of the waiting game until the next day till we get back to the airport. We take
Right.
another cab, takes us there, and we're on the plane, and we're back to America.
Oof.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's a wild ride. That's more
So
exciting
Yeah,
than I
you,
remember.
it was quite the ordeal.
Yeah. So I guess I got most of the details wrong from my child memory. I was 16, but it was apparently my child memory. My version of it was kidnappers, and then something happened with the car. It was probably the story about the ignition getting ripped out of Antonio's car, but it was some car broke down, side of the road, and then some locals walked by. So, I mean, parts of these are part of the actual story.
Yeah,
But
it's
but
part
then
of
it
the.
was that you and who I thought was Pete, but Mitch, just kind of walked away with a group of locals. And I was like, how do two dudes that big walk away with a group of Colombians and no one notices? That's because it didn't happen.
Because we took off up into the jungle when these guys walked past, and we fell down and were waiting for the bad guys to leave.
That, as much more horrifying as that is, does sound more realistic.
So
man. So moral of the story is don't trust Dennis.
Don't
absolutely
trust
not trust
anybody named
them.
Dennis ever, unless you're listening to the show and you're all right.
And I had tried like hell to get us uh, tickets to go to Aruba and spend like a couple of days on the beach in Aruba
Mm.
and have free. But it was easier to get a direct flight back home, and that was what we chose.
Yeah, I would have chosen home.
Yeah. Yeah, you want some comfort now.
Man, that is a wilder story than I realized. And I knew it was a wild story. Like, it's just whoever it was that told me, like, oh yeah, your uncle is working in Colombia, and I knew you were traveling for work. Oh, he got kidnapped. Oh, he's okay. He's like, what?
Oh, he's okay. Yeah.
Oh no, he's
That,
okay.
Jeez.
that sounds about the way my dad would tell the story.
Yeah, I mean, it's the facts.
Yeah,
Here's
case over. Yeah, he got kidnapped. He's alive, and it's over.
yeah, and I think he'll be home soon. That's cool.
Wow.
That's dad.
Yep. That's a good one. Thank you so much for sharing it with us.
So
Yeah, that was fun. That was a wild one.
Uh-huh.
Man.
They're all that wild, Nick. Most of them don't involve like I wouldn't call it espionage,
both
but
of them aren't death defying.
some are, some others are,
Oh,
but it's just Dan on his own.
Man. I've led a charmed life now that I
Well,
think back on it. I've never gone through
well,
anything like that.
like I say to all of my family, all of my relatives, it's like if St. Peter were to knock on the door the next day, I've had a good run. There's nothing in
Yeah.
my that I've missed, pretty much.
he's got it covered, and I look very forward to having you back to tell us more of these fantastic tales.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm very much looking forward to it, and thanks for you guys for being interested in hearing my story.
Yes, sir. I can't think of a
That's
better
awesome.
way. I think just to get I don't know emotional or sentimental at the end of this. This is actually at the end of our first season of the podcast. You're in the finale. I think it's so wonderful that we got to record this and I get to have this. And if my kids want to hear this, and if at some point their kids want to hear this, this will exist.
Well, true to life.
Yeah, into perpetuity.
True life. Oh yeah, I've got the whole one of like I said, the dating game. There was the one where I was a cop and I made my trip to Mississippi. That was a good story too. That was
Perpetuity.
actually
Sorry.
on the edge too.
Yeah. No, the opportunity to be able to hear the whole story, especially directly from you, and then to be able to record it and have it, it means so much to me.
In posterity, there.
Yeah, that one. For
Yeah.
future generations.
Yes. Well, thank you for being interested, Ted and Nick. Pleasure meeting you, and look forward to more of your podcast. And I hope it's successful.
Thank
Because
you. Thank
you
you.
got two of the greatest people on earth there sitting there with the microphone. I'm glad
He's
you
a good guy.
lent an ear to hear the story.
I don't know if you recall, Dan. You were at my wedding a couple of years ago now. Nick was there. He was the best man.
Yes, I do recall.
All right.
Yep.
Just putting that together. That was, for the listeners, the first time I was ever able to drink beer from the Santa Maria Brewing Company. We're not going to discuss how old I was. It was fine. It was good. It was a closed family party, and everything was wonderful, and I appreciated that. That was wonderful.
There was some great stories at the brewery too. That was
Uh-huh.
a fun time.
Yeah, we'll get into the brewery. I want to do many more episodes of Story Time with Uncle Dan, and we'll get into wild times and memories, and me learning to drive a forklift at, I don't know, 12 in a brewery that was getting built. It was all good.
There we go.
So with that, I think we're gonna sign this off. I'm gonna stop recording.
Okay.
Right
I'll
now.
stop